We have noted actor Dalip Tahil joining us now. Thank you, Mr. Tahil, for your time. One word that appears constantly in every tribute that's paid to Dharmendra today, sir, is emotional honesty in his acting. Clearly, he was not the best actor we know, but one of those really affable actors who managed to stand out despite acting in so many multi-starrers like Sholay and Dharamveer and Burning Train. What was it about Dharmendra that you think really helped him strike out on his own?
Well, I don't have a very good evening to you, and thank you for having me. I would like to, through your channel, offer my condolences to the Deol family, to Sunny, Bobby, Prakash ji, Hema ji, and all the children and all the family. I don't really agree with you that Dharamji was not anything but a superb actor and a very versatile actor. But I'll come to that later. The first time I saw Dharamji was when I was a teenager, and it was in Sun and Sand Hotel in Bombay, which used to be the place to go to for a swim. And a lot of movie stars came there. And I remember one day when I was in my early teens, there was like, वहाँ पर हलचल मच गई कि धर्मजी आए हैं, धर्मजी आए हैं. And I remember going and seeing him for the first time. He was wearing a white shirt, white trousers, and those Pathani zari work sandals. He was so good looking. It looked like he had swallowed the sun. He was just a magnificent looking human being. And then many years later, I got to work with him and see his movies like Satyakam, Phool Aur Patthar, Sita Aur Geeta, and of course, Sholay. He was very versatile. But I'll tell you there was a rare quality about Dharamji, which people underestimate because he never publicized himself too much. And that is his quality of honesty. In his performance, it's very rare that actors have this intrinsic honesty in them when they come on the screen, where everything he did was believable because he was so involved in it and he was so innocently honest. And, that's where his following is. That's what makes Dharamji so different to any other of the cinema's leading men. And I rank him amongst cinema's greatest leading men in the world because, he had the charisma that sustained over years and years of competition. He did a variety of roles, and he just wasn't given that kind of credibility that, he really deserved. But anyway, it's a very sad day that he's no longer with us, but reminds me of the English poet, Death, be not proud, because you got Dharmendra at 89, but we enjoyed his prime, his work, his life. So we are eternally grateful to that. And he will never be forgotten. He's one of the greatest leading men that cinema has seen.
What a beautiful poem and way to remember. What a fantastic life, as you say, Dalip Tahil. For somebody beyond Hindi cinema, from, let's say, the south of India, I think the iconic character remains Veeru from Sholay, right? I mean, the movie was iconic, Dharam was iconic. But what about you? I mean, is there a personal favorite that you'd like to go back and watch tonight? Something that to you defines him and the emotion to you?
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt. Very difficult question because I really like Dharamji's films. But the film that I think was the film that actually was so impressive in the sense that he could do something so different and so well was Satyakam. I love that movie. I loved what Dharamji did in it. I liked the way he was so underplayed in it. And Phool Aur Patthar. This was the magic of Dharamji, that even though he was forceful and he was dynamic and strong, but he had that vulnerability. There was that emotional quality in him that you just wanted to embrace that quality. Today, if I have to go back and see, that's very difficult. I'd probably see Sholay at the end of it. But it's a very sad day. I mean, he's physically, in his physical form, he's no more with us.
Right.
And
Mr. Tahil, before I let you go, sir, Chupke Chupke is one of my favorite movies of Dharmendra because there's a character named after, I was named after. So there is this quality about Dharmendra, the natural humor that he had. He plays a botany professor there and, extremely affable. How did he get that timing right? Because clearly there was no method acting to his skill, but there is something that was innately, original and authentic about him, isn't it?
But there you are. That is the method. You see, this whole method acting thing has been blown out of proportion, that you have to be really grieved and learn, be like that, and method acting. That is method acting, because Dharamji used to pour himself inside every role, and his timing in comedy really came from him. If you met him in real life, he was very easygoing, and he didn't take life too seriously. He didn't take himself too seriously. So he was always willing to move with the comedy flow. You can't do comedy if you're basically hung up. If you have an impression of yourself that you are something extraordinary and you can't do this and you can't do that, you'll never be able to do comedy, because comedy you have to let yourself go. And Dharamji had that quality. He would let himself go. And he had a great sense of humor, and he had a lot of comic timing, which is rare. I mean, he was a very rare combination. So, I mean, I would put it down to that is the method.
Right.
I mean, what is the method? It's about getting into the role, being able to understand what is required of you, and giving yourself fully to that particular performance, to that particular moment on the set, that particular scene. And he did that wonderfully. And his legacy endorses that. Because all that came, the great Mr. Rajesh Khanna came, other people came, but Dharamji was constant uh, popularity all through his 6 decades. He was unshakable.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Tahil. So
He was
nicely put.
unshakable. You say body of work. You say he's not there in body, but he's leaving behind a body of work for us to enjoy. Perhaps the one moment that I may enjoy this evening, Vasudha and Dalip Tahil, is the scene on the water tank in Sholay. Perhaps that one comedy scene will remind us forever of Dharam Paji. Thanks very much, Dalip Tahil.